Good morning. It's good to be here, and it is a beautiful sunny day in San Antonio. I'm not nervous. Thank you, Patty and Linda, for sharing with us some of the scriptures that help us understand what our role is in being a good Samaritan to others. Who is my neighbor is a timely and timeless question. The parable is one of the most familiar, perhaps so familiar that we really forget the point or the lesson that Jesus was trying to help us learn. The story has four main characters: the man who was robbed and beaten and left by the side of the road, naked, where they had taken his clothing. What was Jesus really trying to help us learn in the point of the whole story or parable? Was Jesus trying to tell us that we needed to be kind and loving and caring about all people? I was reminded of two songs that I learned as a child, and perhaps you did as well in Sunday school class or in choir, the youth choir. Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him belong. They are weak, but he is strong. Second one is, Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world, red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in his sight. And aren't we all children of our Creator, God? So the man was left by the side of the road. The priest and the Levite and the Samaritan make up the four characters. The notoriously dangerous road from Jerusalem to Jericho is approximately a day or two's journey. The trek winds down the mountain and twists and turns many times. The journey was physically difficult. There are places for robbers to hide every few hundred meters, and those traveling the road did so with fear. And it's still much like that today, unfortunately. Much has been said about the priest, the Levite, and Jewish purity rules, but Jesus did not mention any of that. His point is found elsewhere. While the priest and the Levite did have rules about purity, as did all male Jews at the time, but they did not stop. And sometimes we don't understand why. We do not know who the injured man was. Perhaps he was a Jew, or maybe not. We're not told because the man's identity is not important to the point of Jesus' parable. Many people besides Jews and Samaritans traveled the road. He could have been anyone. He could have been from any nationality, faith, or ethnicity. We all know that he was bloodied, lying in the dirt at the roadside, stripped of his clothing. Consider the perspectives of the priest and the Levite. They were hustling through the bad part of their journey, trying to reach their destination safely. The road is a known danger zone. They see someone on the roadside. Should they stop? The world can be a dangerous place, as we all know. How do they know who the injured man is? The injured man could have been a decoy to cause them harm from others. They passed without helping. Now the Samaritan, the fourth character in our story, lived in what had been the northern part of Israel, Samaria, that kingdom's capital. It sat between Galilee and Judea. The Samaritans were of mixed Jewish and pagan ancestry. Like the Jews, they worshiped Yahweh, but they accepted only the first 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And because of their imperfect adherence to Judaism and their partly pagan background, the Samaritans were despised by ordinary Jews. Why was the Samaritan traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho? We do not know, but the Jewish audience would have reviled him. Imagine the scene with the lawyer that Patty spoke of when she read the parable to us. A group standing around Jesus listening to this parable. For them, it would have been unthinkable for the Samaritan to stop and help the injured man. Given the way Jesus relates the story, the lawyer who asked, "Who is my neighbor?" has no choice but to respond that it is the Samaritan who showed mercy to the injured man. Imagine how difficult that must have been. A person thought of as worthless and outside the acceptable norm is the one who shows mercy. What does that mean for us today? Jesus has asked us as Christians and followers of Christ to be a neighbor. And being a neighbor is a two-way street of engagement. We need to be neighbors to others to whom we do not feel safe or acceptable. In addition, we need to be willing to receive neighborliness from others who may be outside our comfort zone of acceptable people. How do we receive what others offer? Jesus calls us to be aware of our prejudices and the divisions in people, and be capable of ministering to all with all people as neighbors. Neighbors are found in unexpected places, among unexpected people. Being a neighbor involves a willingness to minister with others outside our usual acceptable group, as well as accepting the ministry that those same people can give to us. Christ, like love, is born of compassion. Kindness is the true mark of a good neighbor. We have had a number of experiences with neighbors. In our little town, Trumbull, Missouri, I think the population may have been like 275 people. Everybody knew everybody, pretty much. We had a vacant house. A lady had passed away and her family had been doing some remodeling of it to rent it out. which at that time, the neighborhood did not have rental property. So this would have been the first piece of rental property in our neighborhood. There was a gentleman, we will call him Glenn, moved in next door, down the street just a bit. We could have eye contact with the comings and goings pretty much anytime we were outside, which in those days in that little town was often. We sat out on our patio quite frequently. This gentleman moved in and seemed to be by himself. And my husband was working the midnight shift. So that meant around 11:30, he left myself and our baby daughter, Kathy, alone with this gentleman that we did not know living down the street. And it wasn't the most comfortable of times. We had not met him, had not seen anyone else around other than him, but he did drive an Austin Healey, which my husband was quite taken with. And as Glenn would tell it later, I happened to go by the post office one evening. I was alone and Kathy in the car. I got out and ran in, didn't pay any attention to anyone around me. It was normal. You just did those things in the 60s in this little town. We never left our doors locked, even when we went on vacation. We might have locked the front door, but the back door was always unlocked. But we had another neighbor that was a good at watching the comings and goings to that back door. But as Glenn would tell his story, I came in and immediately became a suction cup against the wall all the way to my little box. Got my mail and suctioned myself back out the door. Because I did not know him. It was late at night. It was dark. Well, maybe wasn't the smartest move I had ever made. But anyway, a few weeks later, I had baked, I don't remember if it was cupcakes or cookies, something of that nature. And I talked to Keith and we decided together that as we went by that evening on our way to the hospital to visit his mother, that we would deliver some of the baked goods to Glenn, whose name we didn't know at the time. By then, we had seen a lady assumed to be his wife about the house on the outside from time to time and walking, we assumed, either to the store or the post office. So we stopped, took the baked goods, and met Glenn and Brenda. Seemed to be a really nice couple, and invited them to come by, and they invited us to come down, which was the beginning of a lifelong friendship, even to this day. And in knowing them, a few years later, or just a year or two later, they went to Saudi Arabia. Glenn was a manager for Saudi Airlines there. And when he would come home, he would always stay with us. We just had developed a fantastic friendship just from being neighborly. Even when in the hot sun in the spring, one year, we had to re-roof our house because of a storm and the damage. And Keith was up on the roof, and who would pull up? But Glenn had come from Saudi Arabia to help him remove those shingles. Also, another good friend that we had met and rode motorcycles with and become good friends with, he came. Neither one of these men ever did labor on their job. They were up on the roof. And Bill, the other gentleman, and Nancy, she brought food for us to have for lunch. Anyway, the moral of that story is, folks, you never know who will become really good friends if you aren't neighborly. And in knowing Glenn, when he came back to the United States from Saudi Arabia some 20 some years later, we became honorary Saudis to this group of people that had all lived together in a compound and became very close, caring and loving friends. And lo and behold, some of those friends lived on property of my best friend in high school. So I knew exactly where they lived. Their daughter was the same age as our daughter. And some beautiful relationships were formed with people from different nations, Australia, Holland, England. I could go on. And all because of sharing cookies or cupcakes and being neighborly. You just never know what your experiences might be. When we moved here to San Antonio, there was neighbors that lived on the third floor of our little complex. They were from Turkey. And just by speaking out in the parking lot to him, I'd not seen her, but we got acquainted. And they came down, we invited them down just after dinner one evening, had a fabulous time, and they come several times. And we talked about our beliefs, our understandings of the gospel. And it was really a great experience. They moved to Chicago. And another couple moved in that we became acquainted with in the parking lot. He come down at Christmas time with a box of beautifully baked cookies that she had made, all different, a dozen of them. I will never forget their generosity to us when they moved just about, I don't know, a month ago or so. They left all kinds of food. He brought down a basket full of food that they would not use and didn't want to just throw away, just by being friendly. So it's my testimony to you that being friendly and neighborly is a Christ-like gift to give and share with others. It's good to receive and it's good to give.